Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So in today's lesson, we are going to study about the Ambata Sutta, which is the third sutta of Nikāya. So we have studied about the two sutta of Brahmajala Sutta and Samanyaphala Sutta. So this is the third sutta of Silakhandavaka, the first book of Nikāya. So this class intended for the daily application. So we have to learn what the sutta say. Then we try to apply these teaching into our daily life action. And I hope the Brahmajala Sutta explains the 62 round view and also the Buddha's suggestion when we encounter someone praising or blaming our religion, our own religion, or our own dharma, how to react. And Samanyaphala Sutta is very important. So for this third sutta, they're talking about the Ambata. So Ambata, let me introduce about the Ambata. The Ambata is the pupil or disciple of the Brahmin Pakrasati. So master is Pakrasati. He is a Brahmin, a well-known Brahmin. Even he has appreciated by King Pasenadi. King Pasenadi, which is called the King Kosala. His name is Kosala. King Kosala has given the title or given the authority to govern the Ugata town. It means the Pakrasati Brahmin is well-known Brahmin. And here are his honors. Pakrasati, he knew the mantra and perfected in 3 Veda, skilled expounder of the rules and ratio, the rule of sound and meaning. And it means he is well-known and very educated Vedic teacher, Brahmin, appreciated by the king. And for the Ambata, so this Ambata is by honors. And here, even the Pakrasati Brahmin gave the statement for the youth Brahmin Ambata. What I know means I refer to the Pakrasati. So what I know, you know, and what you know, I know. It means he already learned all the teacher's is understanding, teacher's explanation. So this is the state of Ambata. So in this sutta, when the Buddha visit to the Ugata town, the Brahmin Pakrasati heard about the good reputation of the Buddha, such as the Arahant Sama Sambuddha, etc. So these are very popular honors of the Buddha, is already well known at the time. So when everybody talk about the Buddha Sakyamuni or the Buddha Gautama, they talk about he is known as Arahant Sama Sambuddha, etc. So these are 9 or 10 virtues, very well known during that time. So Bhakrasati also already heard about the good reputation of the Buddha. Then he sends his disciple Ambata to investigate and test whether this good reputation is correct or not, or whether the Buddha himself is the same as he is well known. So in this way, Ambata, the youth Brahmin, approached to the Buddha and have some conversation about the caste system, arguing back to the Sakya clan, the Buddha's relatives clans. Then Buddha explained about the long history of Sakya and Ambata's ancestors, how they are related each other. After that, the Buddha continued explaining about the knowledge and conduct. Knowledge and conduct. This is the main teaching in this sutta. Also, we can understand how the Buddhism keep the attitude toward the caste system, and how the Brahmanism explain about the caste system in this sutta. So after the purpose of visit to the Buddha is to check whether the Buddha is real Buddha or not. Then the Buddha showed up himself as the real Buddha, and expounded the teaching related to the knowledge and conduct, which is called the Vicharana. Knowledge is Vichar. Charana is here translated as conduct. It's a kind of successful practice. And then when Ambata returned to his master Bhakrasati, and he reported about their conversation, the Buddha and himself. Then during the conversation, the Buddha also explained about the Bhakrasati, the status of the Bhakrasati, just a little bit. But the Bhakrasati just did not like, that the truth information to let the other know. But because the Ambata argued with the Buddha, and this truth become disclosed by the Buddha himself, then the Bhakrasati get angry with the Ambata, not to the Buddha, and he went to the Buddha himself to approach and to check by himself. Also, maybe he'd like to apologize for his disciples' manner. Then the Buddha continued talking about the Vicharana, and then the Bhakrasati attained the Dhamma Jagu, the eye of the Dhamma. It means that he has enlightenment. And finally, he take refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. This is the brief explanation about the sutta. So let's see what are the teaching inside the sutta. Okay, so here the Bhakrasati sent Ambata to the Buddha to investigate and test whether he is the real Buddha or not. At that time, the Ambata asked to his master, how I can know he is real Buddha or not? According to the tradition of mantra, the Bhakrasati explained. So you already learned, I already taught to you the tradition of our mantra. So according to our tradition of mantra, the great man, Mahapurisa in Pāļi, the great man. So with the 32 marks of the great man, so they already mentioned in the mantra, their study, their books. So 32 marks of the great man. So if a man has 32 marks of the great man, and he can be any of two causes. So the first one, he can be universal monarch if he live in a household life, or if he renounce, or if he go for into the ascetic life, he will be Sammasambuddha, just like our Buddha. So there are two causes for the man with 32 marks. So we already study. So you have already understand. So check whether the ascetic Gautama has 32 marks or not. If he has complete 32 marks of the great man, because he already renowned, he must be Sammasambuddha. This is the way how to test. So the Bhakrasati explained to Ambata and he sent to the Buddha. So here, within the explanation, there's some information about the universal monarch. We call the Chakravarti, King Chakravarti. So that is a ruler. So a wheel turning, the wheel is called Chakra in Pāļi. So wheel turning, this is a kind of signature. Whoever reached to the universal monarch belong to, he has the wheel, we call the divine wheel, or the righteous monarch of the law. He ruled the country by the law or Dhamma. And here he conquered all the four quarters, four directions. In every direction, there's no rivals against to him. And after that, he established the security of his realm. Also, he possessed the 7 treasures. So 7 treasures are here, down there. So this kind of ruler is called universal monarchs. Then he has more than 1,000 sons who are heroes. So he already possessed the very powerful army of his son, his own son. And also heroic treasure and conquerors of the hostile army. So by this power, is already enough powerful to rule in 4 directions. But he conquered without using any stick or sword, not using the weapon power. He used the law, the power of law or Dhamma to conquer 4 directions. So this is the universal monarch, and also you can see the king of the Dhamma, not the Buddha yet, but he also has 32 marks. So if someone with 32 marks of the great man, if he live in the household life, he become the universal monarch. And if he renounce Sammasambuddha, so Sammasambuddha is one known as the Arahant. So Sammasambuddha, fully enlightened and Buddha. And he draw the back wheel from the wall. It means he changed the people to be in the good side, withdrawn from the evil through his teaching. So these are 2 causes for the great man. So here are some treasures. You can count the wheel. So this is the signature, the elephants. Also, the commentary extend a lot about the power of the wheel and power of the elephant, etc. So here we will not focus on this. And so if you are interested in that, you can check what are these 7 treasures. So here the woman treasure refers to the queen. And the last one, the translation is given as the counselor treasure. Actually, in the commentary, it says the elder son who can and take his position when he passed away. And also the elder son, the most reliable assistant to rule the country. By his service, his elder son's service, the king can enjoy his kingship. Otherwise, he would be very busy. So having a good assistant, also a kind of treasure. So if we have a good assistant, we have to appreciate, we have to understand their service. Okay, so these are 7 treasures of the king, universal monarchs. Then, okay, so by learning this way to test whether he is the real Buddha or not, and he approaches to the Buddha, and he set aside. But he is not politely approaching to the Buddha. When he approached to the Buddha, and his behavior is he walked up and down while the Buddha sat there. And utters some words of politeness, but his manner is not really polite. And sometimes he stood speaking before the Buddha is seated there. It means not seated or conversation. The conversation go to the end. So he was walking around and standing in front of the Buddha. Actually, this is not the proper manner to have the exchange with the respectful people. So the Buddha said to Ambata, so whether he is behaving the same while he was talking to the learned Brahmin and venerated Brahmins of his teacher and teachers of teacher. So just now you are doing this manner. Are you doing the same manner when you are talking to the venerated and the respected Brahmin teacher? Then he replied, no, we are not doing the same. This only when, when we talk to respected Brahmin, we have to keep the same position, the same posture they do. So if the respected Brahmin walking, and we should walk. And if they stand, we should stand. And if they sit, and we should sit. And if they lie down, and we should lie down. So this is the way how to approach the respected Brahmin. But he himself, the Ambata himself, claimed that if we talk to the shaving little, or he looked down, ascetics, or here manual, or here the black sourcing from the Brahma's food, he will explain why he called this. And at that moment when we are talking to that kind of ascetics, we do the same. So this is our custom, our regular action. If we talk to such kind of ascetic like you, it means directly insulting to the Buddha. Okay, so then the Buddha say, well, Ambata, so there's no point to insult here, So you must have some specific purpose to come here. So you should straightforward to see for that purpose, to fulfill your purpose of coming here. Then the Buddha say, oh, you are doing here. So because you are not perfected in your training and you have the strong conceit and not being trained by yourself, being trained to polite. That's why you behave in this way, in polite way of exchanging. And this is the only reason. There's no point come and insulting someone else. So Buddha replying his word to Ambata in this way. Then Ambata is getting angry, listening to the Buddha's remark. Then he continued. His purpose is to check or to investigate 32 marks of the great man. But he didn't do it right away. He just continued arguing about the Buddha. Here, because he got angry and he has intention to insult. Then he said, not directly to the Buddha, because Buddha didn't do anything wrong to him. But Buddha is one of the Sakya clan, member of Sakya clan. That's why if he insults to the Sakya clan, it's also the Buddha also included. That's why he refers to the Sakya clan. So Sakya are this kind. They are fierce and rough-spoken, harsh and violent, like this. He talked. Then also being manual origin. So originally they are this kind. Then because according to the Ambata, he said, because they do not honor or respect to their venerable Brahmins, so the Brahmin should receive a veneration from the Sakya clan, Sakya princess, but they didn't pay respect to the Brahmin. This is improper way. This is not proper. So also Sakya are so proud and they do not pay homage to the Brahmin. This is also disgusting. He blamed to the Sakya clan with intention to insult the Buddha. And this is the first time he caused the Sakya clan, including the Buddha, of the being manuals. So this is the sudden war to strongly insult anybody else. So Ambata intentionally used this word. Then Ambata make the conclusion, it is not proper that they do not pay homage to the Brahmin. This is the reason. He used the word manual. So the Buddha actually altogether 3 times he insult, the Ambata insult using the word manual. The Buddha explained to him, Ambata, let's see, even the quill, small buds, the little bud, it has right in her own nets. So it has right to, it has full rights in her own nest because it is her own place, territory. So he has full rights. But here, Kapilavatthu, because the disciple Ambata and the Bhakrasati, they visited to the Sakya kingdom, Kapilavatthu. Then the Sakya princes are talking themselves, not paying attention to them. Then Ambata got angry. That's why he blamed in this way. Then the Buddha say, given the example of the quail little bird. So Kapilavatthu is the home of the Sakya. Their home. So they do not deserve, potential for such a third fire, because you insult the Sakya clan too strongly. But this is not the proper way, because they live in their own kingdom and in their right. But you didn't satisfy and you blame to them. So the Buddha explained. Then he argued. So when they go to Kapilavatthu, then they didn't respect to Brahmin. Yeah. Then he continued explaining about the four castes to convince, his intention is to convince the Buddha that the Brahmins are highest caste and deserved for veneration of everyone. So here he explained about the Khattiya, Brahmin, and a merchant and artisan. So this is the lowest one, the caste. So there are four castes among them. The other three castes are entirely subservient to the Brahmin. So Brahmin is highest, and all are considered as, the other three castes are considered as the Brahmin's servants. So according to his explanation. Then with regard to this, if anyone included under three castes does not pay homage to Brahmin, it is improper manner, already improper manner. It doesn't matter whether they live in their own kingdom or their own place. They should give proper veneration to the Brahmins. But this is his view. That's why he get angry. And he again and again, altogether 3 times, cursed the Sakya using the word manios. So after listening 3 times insulting, the Buddha thought, this Ambata, this young man goes too far, abusing the Sakya. So what about if we concern about his clan name? So I want us after his clan name. What is his clan name? So Ambata, the Buddha asked Ambata, what is his clan name? Then the Ambata answered very proudly, my clan is Kanayana. This means my ancestor is related to the Kanayana. So it's called Kanayana lineage. So then the Buddha continued asking about the lineage of Kanayana. So Ambata, according to those who remember the ancestral lineage, so to concern about the Kanayana lineage, the Sakya were master. So master of this Kanayana lineage, or the whole Kanayana lineage, the Sakya clans, the people in Sakya clan are considered as their master. And according to ancient records, because you refers to the Kanayana people, Kanayana people are descended from a slave god of the Sakya. So this is the reason why the Kanayana members should keep the Sakya as their master, because they were descended from the slave car of the Sakya clan. Okay, so revealing the history. Let's see about the history of Sakya clan. So it is started from the King Uggaga. So that is why the Sakya clan refers the King Uggaga as their ancestor. And here the Edo's brothers. So brothers live in the forest due to the reason of the political conflicts. Then they live in the Himalaya beside the Lotus Pond, where was a big group of teak trees. So teak is called saga in Pāļi, saga. Then while they are living in the forest, so they being afraid of contaminating, the conjoining with the other castes and other clans. So they married with their own sister, so their own sister refers to the same clan, and then they get married and they grew up their family without and missing blood mixing with the other clans, keeping their clan's blood pure. And after learning about this, King Uggaga said that they are, evil. They were evil. Here, because they live in the teak, in the forest of the teak trees forest, then the King Uggaga is appreciate their way of living, not letting mix with the other bloods. Then they are strong as teak. These princes are the real Sakya. So using this word Sakya, after that, and this this clan name is called Sakya clan. That's why the Uggaga is ancestor of the Sakya clan. Then, if we see, the Buddha is explain about the history of the Kanayana lineage. So, King Uggaga has a slave girl which is called who is called Disa. So she was the slave of the King Uggaga, the ancestor of the Sakya clan. And the slave girl Disa gave birth, but the child was a black child. And as soon as he was born, he exclaimed, "Wash me, mother, bathe me, mother, and deliver me from this death, and I will bring you profits." So this is the newborn baby's word. By learning, by hearing this word, so all the people afraid of that baby, because according to the human lineage, human nature, newborn baby is not talking in this way. Because he is talking in this way, the people regard him as the Scorpion, he's called the Pisasa, kind of horrible appearance being. And if someone is, the weird and fearful, they use this word Pisacha. Even he is human, they know he is human, but they use the word Pisacha. And also, they always say the Ganna. So that's why the boy, due to his action of speaking as soon as he was born, and he was recognized as the Ganna. And this is not a good name, but he was given in this name. And then, because of that, the Ganna established the lineage of Ganayana. Here, Ganna is the ancestor of the Ganayana. But the Ganna himself was born by the slave god of the Sakya. That's why the member of Ganayana should be regarded the Sakya clan as their master. So this is the history of Sakya clan and the Ganayana lineage, the connection. Here in this, the youth Brahmin, the accompanies of the Ambata, they complain to the Buddha, oh, Venerable Gautama, the ascetic Gautama, Reverend Gautama, do not humiliate the Ambata too much in this way. You make him and his lineage all as a slave lineage of the Sakya. But actually, we already recognize the Ambata. He was well born. He has the highest class of caste system, according to the Ganayana. Before the Buddha revealed this story, even the Brahmin who concerned about the caste system, they were thinking of the Ambata's lineage of Ganayana is in high position, so well born. And also he was born from the good family. It refers to the high caste. And for his own quality, he is very learned person, also well-spoken scholar. And so he himself can be the person who can discuss with Venerable Gautama. So don't humiliate Ambata too much in this way. They complain to the Buddha. So making noise and interruption to the Buddha's explanation. Then the Buddha said to young man, this is also very remarkable way of conversation. Here the Buddha just say, if you guys consider about the Ambata in this way, Ambata is ill-born, not come from the good family, or unlearned, ill-spoken, not really scholar, and not able to discuss with me. If so, you guys can talk in this way. So Ambata should be silenced because he's not qualified enough, if you think. Then, if you think Ambata himself is qualified, you guys should not interrupt it this way. So let the Ambata himself to talk to me, to discuss with me. So this is the way of the Buddha. He peacefully reject stop the interruption of the other youth Brahmin. Then finally, they agree. Okay, so we already recognize the Ambata as a well-born person and come from the good families and scholar, well-learned scholar. That's why we will be silent and Ambata will continue. He will continue. So in this way, without any further interruption, the Buddha and Ambata could continue their conversation. Then the Buddha can ask the Ambata, okay, let me ask the fundamental question to you about your lineage. And you should answer if I ask a straightforward answer. You should give straightforward answer. Or if you don't answer, keeping silent or evading talking the other, referring to the other affairs. If you run away or because he does not like to answer, and the result is your head will split into 7 pieces, if you are going to die. Then the Buddha continued his question. And how do you think? So how have you heard about the venerable Brahmin, your respected teacher or teacher of teachers? Where Ganayana come from, or who was their ancestor? The Buddha already explained, and Buddha just need to confirm with the Ambata about his lineage. At this question, Ambata remained silent. He could not answer. He could not object. Then again, second time, the Buddha asked again the same question. And still, Ambata keeping silent because he does not like to give the right answer. And also, he dare not to lie. Then the Buddha say, already second time, already asked. So whoever Ambata, if the Buddha asks the question, here the Tathagata refers to the Buddha saying, third time, if third time ask him, still keep silent, the same result will come, splitting into 7 pieces, his head. So this is very critical moment. You have to give your right answer to be honest. And the Buddha encouraged him. Then the king of Deva, we call the Sakka. This is not Sakya. It's Sakka, king of Deva. We call the Devana Minda Sakka. Or on the other name, is well known as the word Indra. So he holds the Vajra. Vajra is the weapon thunder weapon. So he holding his weapon and disguising as a yaka. And he threatened, the standing in the sky, and he threatened, the Ambata, showing the fearful appearance. If this young man Ambata do not answer, do not give the proper question, proper answer to the Buddha's question, I will split his head into 7 pieces. This is a kind of false and giving false. Then the appearance of the Sakka can be seen by the Buddha and Ambata, only 2. The other audience not see it. But Ambata, when he see the Yaka's very fearful appearance, and he was terrified, this must be the reason the Venerable Gautama said, my head will be split into 7 pieces. So he started afraid. And also, his hair stood on the end. Then he seek for the protection from the Buddha. Then approaching Buddha and pretending he was missing the question. And he requests the Buddha to repeat the question again. And so the Buddha repeat the question. Upon hearing the question, he cannot stand without giving answer. So he answered about the ancestor of the Kanayana. He admit that, yes, very well. I also have heard about our ancestor of our lineage, the Kanayana lineage. So the Kanna, that one, he approached into the ascetic life. So he was the one we indicate as our ancestor. That's why we call the Kanayana. He admit finally. And hearing this, the young man, his friends, his companies of Vedic Slana, they loud noise. I mean, they changed their statement, their recognition. Here, they change Ambata because his lineage comes from the slave god. That's why he is evil person. No, his family is not in the good position and born of slave god. And Sekya are master of the Ambata's lineage. So they dispraise. So at the beginning, they dispraise to the Buddha. That's why, we misunderstood to dispraise the ascetic Dharma, who was in the high position of the caste system, then higher position than the Ambata. But thinking he was not speaking the truth, but finally, the Ambata himself admitted his lineage of Ganayana is lower than the Sekya clan. So then they changed their statement, giving Ambata as an e-born person and bad come from the low family. Then at that time, the Buddha thought, in this case, if the Buddha keeps silent, the youth Brahmin will continue blaming and dispraising to the Ambata. But the Buddha thought, it is too much to talk or to humiliate Ambata in this way as a son of a slave god. But the Brahmin, they will keep saying this. That's why I must get him out of this. Then the Buddha complete his story about the Ganayana lineage. So saying that the Brahmins don't dispraise Ambata too much in this way as the son of slave god. Because the slave god gave birth the Ganna, then the Ganayana lineage was established. So if you talk about the slave god, you will look down the Ganayana lineage. But the ancestor Ganna is not the ordinary one. He is a mighty sage. So mighty sage, he became to the hermit life. Then he went to the southern region, and learned the mantra of Brahmins. They are secret Brahmin, the secret mantras of Brahmin. They are in that area, and he has learned the Ganna. He has learned, and he returned to the Sakya kingdom, and he went to the king Ogaga and asked for the daughter, Princess Madarupi, a very beautiful princess of the daughter of King Ogaga. The Ganna bravely asked for the daughter. The king, he get angry and get into a furious statement. Then what kind of guys, how crazy, being a son of slave god, and ask for my daughter, he's going to die, and then he take their bow and arrow, and he put an arrow into his bow with the intention to kill the Ganna. But Ganna spared the mantra to hold the bow of the king. That's why the king was not able to shoot or able to put down. In the position of shooting, he was freeze. The king was freeze. Right. Then, and this become the problem. That's why the minister and counselor approached to the sage Ganna and apologized, spare the king. reverence and spare the king. So they apologize for the king. But the Kanna, the sage Kanna, he just say the king was sick, but if he lost the arrow downward, it means he can make the king able to shoot, able to lose the arrow downward. But the result is the other were quick as far his kingdom is tended. It means many beings will be in trouble. So this is not the proper option. Then the minister, again, they make the other request. So spare the king and also spare the land. Okay, so if I make the king shoot, let the king shoot the arrow upward, okay, it's also possible. I can do that. But if I do this, and as far as the God will get angry, and they will not let any rain drop within 7 years. So the country will lose the raindrop for 7 years. It is impossible. People will die for water shortage and food shortage. So 2 options given by the sage Ghana, none of them is useful. So acceptable. That's why they make another request: spare king, spare land, and also God let it rain. So the Ghana, the sage Ghana, he gave the less option. Okay, if so, the king has to point his arrow at the crown prince. This is very challenging. The crown prince he is a future king. If he was killed, the country is in bad luck. That's why he just gave with the intentionally threatening and can do whatever. So the last option is the king has to point the arrow to the crown prince and release. So, but I assure the crown prince will be completely safe. It will be okay. Just do it. But because this is the less and the most acceptable result, the minister is claiming, okay, so the king should appoint arrow to the crown prince and release it. So the prince was absolutely okay. It was not harmed by the arrow because the sage Ghana control the bow and arrow by his mantra. He can manage. After this event happened, the King Okaga himself, terrified and fearful of divine punishment. It means the Ghana can do. Then he gave away his own daughter, Madarupi. This is the Isekja clan, the princess. She was given to the son of slave. It is very unfortunate. By taking this Madarupi princess, the Ghana established the lineage of Ghanayana. So if we just focus on the father side, Ghanayana lineage is started from the son of the slave car. But if you check the mother side, the Madarupi is the daughter of King Okaga himself, Sakya clan. So that's why you guys should not dispraise too much to Ambata. Keep talking keep himself as the son of a slave. but even he is son of a slave, true, but he is a mighty sage, finally. So the Buddha stands with the Ambata. So then the Buddha compares the Brahmin in another way. Here, Buddha say, Ambata, how do you think about the Khattiya youth? Khattiya refers to the kin is a clan. The Khattiya youth, he get married to the Brahmin maiden, and he was born. They gave birth a son. Okay, so father is the Khattiya and mother is Brahmin. In this case, that the Khattiya, son of the Khattiya youth, the newborn youth, he is allowed to receive the seed from the Brahmin. It means the Brahmin accept him as their member or not, because his father is Khattiya. In that case, the Ambata answer, he will be accepted because his mother is Brahmin and his father is Khattiya. It will not be a problem in the community. Okay, so the Buddha further asks about the right and ratio in ceremony, whether he can involve in ceremony or in the sacrifice or the accepting as a gods, the honorable gods. Also, Ambata agree. Yeah, they will treat him as a gentleman in their community. Okay, so for education, what about the mantra? Are prohibited for him or not? But he is not prohibited to learn the mantra as well. And also, if he get married to the Brahmin maiden, is it possible? Also okay, they say. So he has fully right, although his father is Khattiya. This is one case. And okay, so let's consider about the Khattiya side. If the mother is Brahmin maiden, how do you think about the Khattiya's recognition? So whether the Khattiya sprinkle him with the Khattiya's consecration, it means they are given the full right of the Khattiya clan. But the Ambata answer, no, it is impossible. No, Khattiya will not recognize him as with the full rights. Why not? Because he is not well born on his mother's side. It means here the Ambata is recognized that kind of person, the Khattiya father and Brahmin mother, is not well born on his mother's side. It means the Brahmin are lower than the Khattiya in this case, according to this conversation. Then the Buddha give another story here. How do you think about if the Brahmin youth get married to the Khattiya maiden? Also the same response, the same right. He will be fully recognized as a part of community by the Brahmin, but he will not be recognized by the Khattiyas because his father is not a Khattiya itself. So in this case, through a man taking a woman or a woman taking a man, in this case, are Brahmin to senior, Khattiya are senior to Brahmin. So Khattiya take the right position, higher position to Brahmin. So the Buddha compares this truth at that at that moment, in this age, this kind of social status of the Khattiya and Brahmin already recognized, but ignoring this truth, the Brahmins are being too proud of themselves. We were born on the mouth of the Brahma, so we are highest, and they already claim. Then the Buddha continued asking the Ambata, okay, so the Brahmin, in this case, this is another case. If the Brahmin is punished by the Brahmin community and expelled from the country or city, whether he can receive the seed and water, it means a certain manner of as a member of Brahmin. So if once he has expelled as a punishment, the manner of the bag of ash is put into his head. This is a very painful or unpleasant signature for the Brahmin. So if any Brahmin has been punished in this way, being punished in this way, can he receive seed and water from the Brahmins? So in this case, Ambata say no, Pranavasa. It is impossible. Okay, so they will treat them or in this way, after that kind of punishment action, he lost his status in the Brahmin community. But still, he has right to uncover. He does not have the uncover the Brahmin woman. So it means he lost his right in the Brahmin community. Then the Buddha asked about the Khattiya. So the member of the Khattiya clan also can be punished by any reason in this way. And he was expelled by the country or the city. That's the same, punishment. Then if the Khattiya is punished in this way, whether he can receive a seed and water from the Brahmin. But here in this case, the Ambata say he will receive the water and seed from the Brahmin, although he was punished by the Khattiya. Still, he can get a position, high position in the Brahmin community. So in this context as well, the Khattiyas are referenced as the highest caste to Brahmin. So in this way, the Buddha already explained about the social status of the Brahmin and Khattiya to consider in proper way about the caste system in this age. So then the Buddha continue giving reference, here the Brahma Sanankumara. So this Brahma is appreciated by the Brahmin castes, the ancestor of the Brahmin. They respect to the Brahma. So the Buddha refers these verses recited by the Sanankumara Brahma himself. So according to the Sanankumara Brahma, Khattiya is the best among those who value clan. So if you are the one who value the clan, who recognize the caste system is important, so Khattiya is the best. Khattiya must be in highest position. But for the world, for all beings generally, the one who has the knowledge and conduct is the best, regardless of the caste, whatever caste he was born. And if a person has knowledge and conduct, he must be in highest position. So These buses come from the Brahma, the real Brahma, the Sanankumara. Then the Buddha recommend for the Sanankumara Brahma, so he recited this verse rightly and not wrongly. What he has spoken in this verse is right, not wrong. So also is connected to the prophet and is not unconnected to the prophet. It's beneficial because the last part referring to the knowledge and conduct, vichara and charana. And in this lesson, we will talk about what are the vichara and what are the charana. This is important parts. And also the Buddha say, for myself, for the Buddha himself also say in the same statement of the Sanankumara, keeping the Khattiya in the highest position according to the caste system, and keeping the person who has the knowledge and good conduct in the best of the gods and men. So in this case, if we study the good reputation, including 9 virtues of the Buddha, the third virtue is Vichacharana Sampanna. The Buddha is recognized as the Vichacharana Sampanna. It means who has the knowledge and good conduct. So this is how the Ambata started his conversation before he checked it out there, whether the Buddha has the 32 marks of the great man, as his teacher ordered him to investigate and test. Then he just make the argument. Then by doing so, the Buddha explained the history of Sakya clan and then the history of his own lineage of Kanayana. By this exchange of the words, by this conversation, the Brahmin go into the lower position than the Khattiya. So this result cannot be satisfied by his teacher Vakrasati and other Brahmin. So this become a big problem for the Ambata. Then the Buddha just console him, also save him, not to be blamed strongly by his friends, Brahmins. So now I think it is time to stop here and let's continue Q&A session or discussion. And the next lesson, however, there how the Vakrasati approach and also how they have the conversation with the Buddha and about the knowledge and conduct, vichara and charana. Okay, thank you for your attention.